So, hello everyone. My name is Dominga Ano Archaba and I am going to discuss about the trainees training requirement for the Masonry NC2. So, for the learning objectives, we have we were able to determine the current competencies of the trainees or group of trainees, and we are able to identify the trainees training requirement. So, we come now to the TNA Form 1.2, which is identifying training gaps. So, in identifying training gaps from our accomplished TNA Form 1.1, those who were identified as no or those who checked no will be placed under the training gaps or requirements in the TNA Form 1.2. So this means that the students need to be trained or teach the identified competency. So, for those competencies naman that were identified as yes or those who checked yes from the TNA Form 1.1, you will just copy the competency and place it under the current competency in the TNA Form 1.2. So, let's come to the next page for a sample. So, here, I only focus on the first respondent. So, as you can see in basic competencies, the unit of competency, which is participate in workplace communication, work in a team environment, and solve or address routine problems, has responded with yes. So, so we will just copy those LOs or learning outcomes that has yes respond to the current competencies in the training needs analysis 1.2. So as you can see here, it it all placed in current competencies. So we come now to the next example, which is in common competency. So here, as you can see, in prepare construction materials and tools, we just copy the LO and put it in the current competencies. And however, in observe procedures, specification, and manuals of instruction, we have a no here. So those who were checked yes will be copied and put it on the current competencies, while the no will be on the training gaps or requirement. So same with the performance duration and calculation, we have to know. So it will be put it on the training gaps or requirement. So here again in core competencies, which is lay concrete, hollow blocks for structure, and plaster wall surface. So here we all have a yes response. So we will just copy it to the current competencies of our TNA 1.2. So let's go to the TNA Form 1.3, which is identifying the training needs. So using TNA Form 1.3, we will just convert the training gaps from the Form 1.2 into a training needs or requirements. So refer to the TR in identifying the module title or unit of competency of the training needs identified. So here we have a note. Just make the unit of competency as an action word. So when we say an action word, we will just put an ing and on the last of the word. So in identifying the module title or module of instruction. So for example, assemble or disassemble consumer electronic products and system. So um we will make it into an action word, so it will become assembling or disassembling consumer electronics products and systems. So here, as you can see, we added ing on assemble. So here we have an example. So from TNA 1.2, which we put the LOs that has yes from the current competencies and those who have no in training requirement or training gap. So we will just focus on the um, no. So here in here in TNA 1.3, so we have here training needs or learning outcomes on the left side, and then on the right side we have the module titles or module of instruction. So let's come to discuss my TNA 1.3. So here in basic competencies, as you can see in unit of competencies number 4, which is developing careers and life decision, we have a learning outcome that has a response of no. So which is the boost self-confidence and develop self-regulation. So I just put the learning outcome here in the left side or here in the training needs column. So next is in number 7, or here in the module title, which is practicing occupational safety and health policies and procedure. I have also no respond for my respondent A, which is the learning outcome is identify OSH compliance requirement. So let's come to the next slide. So for common and core competencies, so here as you can see for further explanation, so the current competencies I just put it none. So to for it to be specified as it is already known by the respondent. So for the training gaps or training requirements, so in module title, which is observe procedures, specifications, and manuals of instruction, I just make it into an action word, so it become observing procedures, specifications, and manuals of instruction, and then I I listed the learning outcomes which has a no check. So here we have interpret manuals and store manuals. Same with the number 3, performance duration and calculation. I put it the 2, which is to carry out measurements and calculations, and check conditions of tools and equipment. So in module title number 4, which is maintain tools and equipment, here I have yes response for both module titles. So I just put it none for the learning outcomes. So for the core competencies, my first respondents check yes. So I just put a none there in the training needs or learning outcomes. So that's it, as you can see. So we come now to the TNA form 1.2 results and discussion. So in TNA 1.2, 3 out of 10 respondents has no training gaps. So these 3 respondents were identified as respondent number 2, respondent number 5, and respondent number 7. So these indicate that they are capable to perform all competencies in masonry NC2. However, 7 out of 10 respondents still have training gaps. They are identified as learning respondent 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, and respondent number 10. So we come now to the TNA Form 1.3 for the result and discussion. So the following are the training needs that needs to be focused in Masonry NC2 in order to meet the training needs of the trainees. So here in basic competencies, we have perform duties following workplace instructions, complete relevant work-related document, describe team rules and scope, identifies one's roles and responsibility within team, identify routine problems, boost self-confidence and develop self-regulation, assess gather data or information, record and present information, identify OSH compliance requirements, prepare OSH requirements for compliance, perform tasks in accordance with relevant OSH policies and procedures, determine causes of inefficiency of resource utilization, convey convey an efficient and effective environmental practice, apply entrepreneurial workplace best practices, and communicate entrepreneurial workplace best practices. So this module titles or this learning outcome as well, um, these are needs to be improved. So for the common competencies, we have requisition of materials, receive and inspect materials, identify and access specifications or manuals, interpret manuals, apply information in manual, store manual, select measuring instruments, carry out measurements and calculation, check conditions of tools and equipments, perform basic preventive maintenance. So, and the last for core competencies, we have established vertical and horizontal guide, perform laying of concrete hollow block, perform joining process, prepare wall surfaces for plastering, perform plastering work, and perform curing. So that would end my discussion. Thank you.